You're watching the Bo Frye Show on Rider Nation Station, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Fowler's TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, Auglai's Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, VFW 9289, Auglai's Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Vogel's Bake Shop, Schaff Auto Sales, Miller Funeral Homes, and Speed's Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to this edition of the Bo Frye Show, week number 9. And congratulations, Coach, first of all, on the win last week. Big win against the Elida Bulldogs.
Thanks.
Well, we're in week number 9, and things are starting to shape up. We got one more week left to go in the regular season, then we enter into the playoffs. But as far as the Western Buckeye League is concerned, for this week, Van Wert and Wapakoneta at the top at 6-1 in league records. The Rough Riders OG are 5-2, followed by Bath at 4-3. Shawnee and Elida are 3-4. Defiance 2-5. Salina 1-6, and of course, Kenton remains the only winless team in the Western Buckeye League. And in case you haven't heard scores from last week, the big one in the Western Buckeye League, and we tried to follow them last Friday in the press box as we were doing the St. Mary's Elida game, but Shawnee and OG was a dandy throughout the course of the night. OG did come out on top, beat Shawnee 9-7, but Wapakoneta and Bath, this week's opponent, the Bath Wildcats, it took the Redskins overtime to beat the Bath Wildcats 28-21, so that's a big game for the Wapakoneta Redskins. And, of course, I think if you're the Bath Wildcats, you have to gauge kind of your season. You know, really, in all honesty, you can play with the best teams in the league.
Yeah, they're definitely very talented, so I think we all knew that going into the season. A lot of Bath's starters have played for 4 years, so it doesn't surprise me much.
And, of course, Defiance defeats Salina 28-19. Van Wert thumps on Kenton 63-20. And, of course, St. Mary's wins 42-7 over Elida. This week in the Western Buckeye League, it looks like this. Salina's on the road at Wapak. Shawnee will take on Kenton. Van Wert's at Elida. Defiance at OG. And, of course, the Bath Wildcats will come to Grand Lake Health Systems Field to take on the Rough Riders. So that's pretty much the Western Buckeye League in a nutshell as we go into week number 9. And, Coach, let me ask you this. The playoffs are starting to take shape. I think, if my memory serves me correctly, I had an opportunity to take a look at Division III Region 12. I think right now Wapak's sitting in 4th. St. Mary's is in 5th. Shawnee's somewhere in the top 10. Elida dropped out of the top 16. They're sitting at 17th, so they're on the outside looking in. And they still have an opportunity that they could possibly sneak in, but of course they got a big game this week at home against Van Wert. So how's things shaping up as far as the computer play? Obviously, to me, this is my opinion, St. Mary's is in.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. St. Mary's would be in.
With the 16 teams, I'd say we're pretty much a lock to make the playoffs. I think if we want a home playoff game, we got to continue to win. And if we want possibly 2 playoff games, we got to win them both. So obviously there's still a lot on the table for us.
And again, we talked about it last week in last week's show. I think St. Mary's probably finds themselves in the 5th spot basically due because London's having such a good season.
Yeah, London has a tough couple games at the end, but they're a pretty good football team, and they've continued to win throughout, and I think they will continue to win. So they give us a lot of second-level points. Yeah.
So let's talk about last week's win over the Elida Bulldogs, 42-7. Of course, we'll take a look at our clips. We'll get going here. This is our first clip is Ross Henshin. Ross had a good ball game against the Elida Bulldogs. I think he rushed for over 100 yards in this ball game as well.
Yeah, Ross continues to get better. He's running with a surge and with an anger, and with his feet are continuing to run. And Ross is a very good football player.
And this is Tanner Howe on a nice run. He gets to the corner and picks up good yardage.
Yeah, it was a very good sweep. Ryan Davis gets out in front, puts bodies on people. Ross Henshin as well, putting bodies on people. And Tanner's very good at that. So.
This is second and third effort by your fullback, Aiden Hinkle, who I agree with you totally. He is getting better week after week after week. And I think really a lot, like you talked about earlier, with that knee injury, it's between the ears.
Yeah.
And I think he's getting confidence that he can take a hit on that knee and be fine.
You're seeing it every week in practice. He's progressively gets better. He's slimming down a little bit. He's not as thick as he used to be, so he's moving a little better.
And this next one is Aiden Hinkle scores the Rough Riders' first touchdown.
Yeah, him and Ross have really become a pretty good 1-2 punch, and then Little Sharpie, the third punch in there too. So
This is just the same play that he scores on, but just from a different angle. We'll be able to see the line blocking up front.
yeah, we're getting off the ball, and whenever we do that, great things happen.
This next clip is a fullback pitch to Ross Henshin. He gets corner and picks up good yardage.
Like I said, Ross had a pretty good night, and he's going to have to continue to have good nights for us to continue to win. We're just being physical.
And your downfield blocking was superb.
Yeah.
All night long, you could just see, blockers in front of the running back just pushing people forward to get an extra maybe 3 or 4 yards.
You're starting to see it done right, and that's one of our goals is always downfield block and to finish plays. And so you're seeing it done right.
This is just a great effort here by Braden Helmelgarn.
Yeah, he had a big night, and I told you going into it that you're going to continuously see a better Braden Helmelgarn because he missed so much practice time. So it takes time. People think you can just jump right off of waivers and play. It's not. Football is not a. It's a sport you have to put some time into.
And this is the same run by Helmelgarn just from the end zone, and he does a good job eluding the first tackler. Right there with a nice stiff arm, and then tight ropes down the line and put 6 on the board.
We really felt going into the year that Braden Helmelgarn was, if not the best, one of the best athletes in the league, and you're starting to see some of that we knew.
And this next clip is Caden Sharp. He get in the act, and he started to carry the ball a little bit more in this ball game, but he runs north and south and picked up good yards.
He has fast feet. The Sharps have real fast feet, so he's kind of a change-up to Henshin and Hinkle in there.
Yeah.
So.
Now this one here, I think Ross drops the ball, and apparently he must be living right because it bounces right back up to him.
Yeah, he got cheated up a little too tight, and the pitch wasn't right. And but hey, scoops it, runs a guy over. That's how it's supposed to work. That's exactly how he drew it up.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
It's called the fumble rooski. Yeah.
This is here is a 2-yard quarterback sneak by Reineke, and again, just excellent line surge and.
It was okay. It wasn't our best.
Put him in the end zone.
He got in the end zone, but that's not a great quarterback sneak.
This is Colton Mabry on a sweep.
Yeah, he continues to get better. He's 14 years old. 14. So
that's hard to
14
believe.
Going on 40, I think. But I said junior, like sophomore, junior, or whatever. But he's 14 years old, so he's going to continue to get better. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
This is another nice run by Aiden Hinkle, right up the middle.
Yep, that's a trap inside. And you see it, he's getting better, and he continues to start to do some of those old school Aiden Hinkle things.
Yeah. This next clip is Helmelgarn on a 16-yard run, and I'll tell you what, check this hole out. Boom.
Yeah, that might have been one that many people could run through. Yeah.
I think so. And this we're going to see from the end zone, and you'll just see good downfield blocking. They're just pushing defenders to the outside, and seriously, you can drive a truck through this hole. Look at that.
Zach Farrow could have bear crawled through that.
I don't know.
The old center days, man. He could have bear crawled through that.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is Gavin Reineke on a quarterback boot. Was this called?
Yeah. This is it's a follow play. It's actually not a pass play. It's a run play to Reineke. Yeah. There's always kind of checks to each play that the quarterback can keep it out of. We just don't use it a whole lot all the time.
And this is just an outstanding athletic run by Helmelgarn, and he makes a great catch. Eludes a tackler, and then whoop, jumps over a player.
Yeah, it's impressive.
And I don't know.
It's illegal, but he stiff-armed him first.
That's but there was no flag on that particular call. But I think they called it on the block in the back.
Yeah,
before,
the block on the back on Sharp. Yeah, it's illegal to jump over a kid in high school football. But I think this, because he used the stiff arm and it was on the sidelines, I don't think it kind of used it as I think if you just straight jump. I don't know the exact rules,
I'm sure,
but
I think Zach and Mark are going to touch
you guys can
on
talk
rules
about
of the
that
game.
one.
Let's take a look at some of the offensive statistics for the season. Ross Henson is your leading ball carrier. He's carried the ball 105 times for 529 yards, 4 touchdowns. He averages 5 yards a pop, and that's pretty good when you're looking at a second and short situation.
Yeah.
Tanner Howell, 65 carries, 317 yards, 1 touchdown. So he's your second leading rusher, but you've got about 4 other players that are right all bunched up in there that at any given time could have a 100-yard game. Offensively, your offense is averaging 259 yards per game, throwing 44 yards a game, 303 yards per game of total offense. So your offense is amassing through the first 8
The
games.
goal's 350 rushing.
Is
so
it?
a week.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get there. I said we haven't peaked yet. So when this thing finally peaks, we may get there. So
let's take a look at the defense. The defense again played well. Of course, they are probably the top defense in the Western Buckeye League as far as points allowed. That's a nice pop by Ty Keel to jar the ball loose.
he plays hard, plays extremely hard, and he's become a very good football player.
Then on the next play, I think he bit on the out.
Yeah, sometimes you live and die in the secondary. You take a risk. You're feast or famine back there.
It is.
He's got to be smarter and understand the game and all the little intricacies. But he's fine. Some of those things happen sometimes.
It does, and that's really, in all honesty, that's the last that Elida saw the end zone.
Yeah.
This is good good gang tackling by the defense. They just everybody to the football.
They play great team defense, and that's partially what I credit our coaches over there, Shane Patterson, Nick Yale, and Tom Nouse. They preach the team and get into the ball and everybody at the same time. So
Braxton King, over the last 2 or 3 ball games, has just seemed like he's come into his own. And he's playing with a lot of confidence. Here's a sack by Braxton King. And I think he's second on the team in sacks with 6, I believe. I think Dylan Giesecke leads the team in sacks with 7, but here it is from the backside.
And Braxton has an extremely live motor. I mean, he has a live motor in life. You can see him in the hallway. He's always bouncing off the hallways. He can't sit still. So he plays the game how he kind of acts.
Yeah.
So.
And this is a nice tackle for a loss by the defense.
Yep, very good there. I'm not sure who that was. Stoss Patterson, maybe?
I will say this in reference to the tackle for loss. We'll go back, and this was given to me this week. The minus 61 yards rushing by Kenton a few weeks back is a new record as far as rushing yards by a defense. The previous record was held by Kenton with minus 25 yards. So that's rushing offense in the game, minus 61. That's a new school record.
Well, the goal is always to stop the run on defense, and obviously they're reaching for goals.
I believe this one right here, I believe this is a pick 6 by Braden Sullivan, and he's playing well.
Yeah, he's coming around. He's a really good football player. Like I said, last year his body was a whole different body. He was a fullback, sturdy linebacker type kid, and he's really thinned out, and he can move. So
You know, one thing I noticed on that particular clip is that your downfield blockers. A lot of times you'll see plays like this where a guy will turn around and decide he wants to block somebody. Next thing you know, it's a clip.
yeah.
They used their head. There was nobody within it, so they didn't block anybody. But gee whiz, there's 3 guys down there.
That's just heart and effort and a love for each other and a love for the game. So
Defense, again, great pursuit. Everybody to the football.
guys filling and making tackles. Great things happen when you tackle. You know.
Dylan Giesecke continues to play well at defensive end. Here he just kind of reads the pass play, steps in the passing lane, and boom, bats it down.
Almost a pick 6 if he had any hands, right?
Exactly.
He plays tight end too for us, but we haven't used him at all yet this year. So.
And this is Braxton King on the backside. He'll just run down the ball carrier and drag him to the ground for a big tackle.
Playing with a live motor, great things happen.
Your defense on the year, they're giving up just 85 yards per game. Rushing, they're giving up 121 yards through the air. Again, like I said, those are tops in the Western Buckeye League. And total defense, they're giving up 206 yards per game. As far as tackles are concerned, Tanner Howell leads the team with 86. Tackles, Braden Sullivan with 54, Dylan Giesecke 53, and I think he has 6 sacks. He's got 6 sacks. Braxton King has 7 sacks and 52 tackles, and Stosh Patterson has 50 tackles. So a lot of guys getting to the football and playing extremely well defensively. Special teams, seems to me like I don't think there was anything extraordinary. Special teams, just solid special teams play throughout the course of the night.
Yeah, at some point here they're going to win us a game. So we put a lot of time into them and a lot of effort into them, and I have to continue to get better on them.
This next clip's just good kickoff coverage. Is a stop inside the 25, which I believe you said is a goal.
It is a goal, yep. So we're getting downfield and we're covering and we're making tackles, and whenever you get guys downfield and on the kickoff, it's great. So you beat it with speed, and then you see the separation because each guy has a job on kickoff.
Right.
So.
This is just a solid point after by Brandon Brewer.
Bowers.
You're
good. Coach Brewer would probably claim him as a son if you like.
I'm sure he would.
That leg, man, it's not his leg. I don't know. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. This is a kickoff by Bowers into the end zone.
Yeah, this is always great. It's a heck of a lot easier to cover a kickoff when it's in the end zone. So he's got a lot of work here lately.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, which is good.
This is a punt. This is just good coverage. I think the ball hits the ground, but again, special teams were down there to keep it from bouncing back too far. So good job with the special teams on that punt coverage.
Have to continue to cover and have to continue to put it in the air. So
this is a punt return by Braden Hemmelgarn.
I say you've seen a lot of them now. He's getting better, and he's gotten a lot better in practice, and that's starting to pay off for him. So
I kind of like the over-the-shoulder catch.
I don't care as long as he catches it. Field the dang on thing. That's the big thing with me. So.
And this is another kickoff with the stop inside the 20 this time. So, anytime you can start your opponent inside the 20, 25-yard line and make them go 80, 75 yards, it makes it tougher on their offense.
Yeah.
So it is a weapon, so to speak.
For sure.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at this week's opponent. The Bath Wildcats come to Grand Lake Health Systems Field. We'll do that and more when we come back to the Bo Frye Show right after this.
You're watching the Bo Frye Show on Rider Nation Station, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Fowler's TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, Auglaze Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, VFW 9289, Auglaze Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Vogel's Bake Shop, Schaff Auto Sales, Miller Funeral Homes, and Speed's Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
Again, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors for joining Rider Nation Station as we bring you Rough Rider football and rules of the game and the Bo Frye Show. And again, as I say each and every week, if you get an opportunity, thank these sponsors, because without them and their financial support, we wouldn't be able to do what we're able to do. And what we love to do is to bring you Rough Rider football throughout the course of the season. Coach, the Bath Wildcats come into the town on Friday night. They're 4-3 in the Western Buckeye League. They're 5-3 overall. They lost in overtime to Walpock, so I think that would have some feathers ruffled, because I think that gives them even though they lost, I would think that it would give them a little boost of confidence that they can play with some of the best in the Western Buckeye League. And of course, Ryan Rendell, he's been there a long time, so he's got this team rolling. Yeah,
he was the old D coordinator for many years, and then he took over about 3 years ago as the head coach. And a lot of these kids, like I said before, have been playing for 4 years. It's a very talented senior group. I think them and Van Wert probably have the best talent senior groups in the league. But they're big, they're physical, and they match up very well with us.
Well, when you look at them offensively now, I have to say this, that these statistics that I'm going to give you came after week number 7. As of this taping, the Western Buckeye League didn't have the statistics out after game number 8, so this is what I've got. Offensively, they were 6th in the Western Buckeye League in rushing. They're averaging about 132 yards per game. They're 6th in the Western Buckeye League in passing at 106 yards per game. They're 5th in total offense with 237 yards per game. And they're 5th in scoring offense, and they're averaging about 20 points per game. So, overall, when you look at it, 5-3, they're right in the middle of the pack in the Western Buckeye League, and they're right in the middle of the pack statistically.
When you look at their offense and when you started watching them from the beginning of the year till now, they've gotten a lot better in the trenches to their skill guys, and they've got a new quarterback because their last two quarterbacks have moved on them. So they're playing a new quarterback who's a senior who's a very good athlete. So they're continuing to get better week by week.
Their quarterback is a senior. His name is Ian Armitrout.
Yeah.
And so the quarterback they had last year that started as a freshman.
He moved to Hilliard, yes. So,
moved to Hilliard.
Yeah. So they brought another senior in who's now starting for him. He's a pretty good football player, so a very good athlete.
And that's always tough.
It is, yeah.
It's always tough to bring a new quarterback in your offense and acclimate him. But, of course, he's a very good athlete. As a matter of fact, he's sixth in the Western Buckeye League in passing. He's completed 58 passes on 105 attempts for 719 yards, 8 touchdowns, thrown 5 interceptions. But he's also fifth in the Western Buckeye League in rushing. And I think probably their offense goes as he goes.
For sure he does. But they'll also pack it in tight and run it right at you with a running back who's been playing for several years for him as well. So they can do different things. They're going to, unlike an Elida who wants to be in the gun all the time, they'll get under center and run right at you.
Defensively, they are the number 2 team in the Western Buckeye League against the rush. They're just giving up 79 yards per game, but then again, we've heard statistics like that before. They're 8 in the Western Buckeye League in pass defense, giving up 123 yards per game. 3rd in total defense, giving up 220 yards per game. And they're number 2 in scoring offense. They're just giving up about 13 points per game. But like I said, those are just numbers. They don't really mean a whole lot as far as the Rough Rider offense and defensive scheme of things, but we've seen statistics like that shattered on Friday night, so it really doesn't mean anything, but they still play solid defense.
They're a very good defense. I think a lot of this game's about matchups, and they have the bodies and the big physical D linemen to do that. They have some new linebackers this year, but they fly to the ball, and they're very well coached on defense.
Well, we wish you the best of luck this Friday night against the Bath Wildcats. They're at home here at Grand Lake Health Systems Field. We'll be on the air about 6:50 or so with our pregame show. So again, Coach, we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
That's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of the Bo Frye Show here on Rider Nation Station. Glad to have you along with us. Until next week, I'm Joe Hurlburt alongside Head Coach Bo Frye. Until next time, so long, everyone.
You're watching the Bo Frye Show on Rider Nation Station, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Fowler's TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, Auglai's Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, VFW 9289, Auglai's Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Vogel's Bake Shop, Schaff Auto Sales, Miller Funeral Homes, and Speed's Chiropractic and Wellness Center. Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.